We have reports that the Vancouver Canucks are targeting this free agent goaltender that would fit perfectly on this team, especially if Thatcher Demko is out longer than expected. And we get a huge update on Silovs, including him possibly being the starter for Team Latvia in the Olympics. We're going to break all this down and more later on this episode. Before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to Vium for sponsoring this video. Are you trying to kick a bad habit to the curb? If so, you need to check out Fume. Have you heard that flavored air category is becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits led by today's sponsor of this video, Fume. Flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky sodas, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has a lot of delicious flavors to choose from like crisp mint, orange vanilla. With flavored air you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapors, or combustion. Fume has been backed by doctors in the US, and the company continues to invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products. My favorite thing about Fume is the delicious flavor cores, especially the crisp mint, that you can use anywhere, at home, work, on the go, anywhere you want to use this you can. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. Slip it on to the mouthpiece for a warmer, soother feel. It's also chewable for those who love to fidget, and it's also reusable. Head to tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use code DIGEST or the QR code on the screen right now to get your free Fume topper when you order your first journey pack today. Once again, we want to give a huge shout out to Vium for sponsoring this video, but with that, let's hop straight into the first topic today, which are the Canucks are interested in Kevin Lankinen. Now, we did get reports from Rick Dolly today saying the Canucks continue to look for a goalie. It appears that Kevin Lankinen is their target. You can see him continue on to say he had a strong 2 seasons in Nashville and made $2 million last year, but with the Canucks cap, it might be hard to fit. Now, the biggest thing with this, Griffin, obviously there's so many rumors flying around of Thatcher Demko possibly being out for the start of the year. What's your thoughts on maybe going out, getting a veteran like Kevin Lankinen to come in and play a role with this Canucks organization?
I really like the idea of bringing in a veteran, especially not someone that you have to call up from the AHL. This is a guy who's been in the NHL for a while. He's gotten a significant amount of starts in a backup position. He posts a nice save percentage, so it would be nice to put a guy like him in a spot where he's backing up Silovs, who has taken the league by storm, not only in the last season, but also heading into this next season. A lot of eyes are going to be on him, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what he's going to do if he's thrust into a starting goalie position with Thatcher Demko. Unfortunately, looking like he's going to be out a bit longer than we expected. It seems like it's going to be a bit of a mystery what goes on there for a bit until we get official confirmation. But with bringing in a guy like Lankinen, I do like the idea of having that veteran safety valve as someone who can step in for Silovs, kind of lighten the load so that Silovs isn't taking too much on or starting too many games until Demko comes back. Well, you still want to make that young goalie really ready for the playoffs.
And the biggest thing is we kind of seen the Canucks run the 3 goalie tandem. We've seen Demko go down last year. We've seen Casey Smith take over. We've seen Silovs take over in the playoffs. So I think having Lankinen come in, play in a Casey DeSmith role, but more of the third string role, or even the backup, depending on how long Demko is out, would be perfect. I mean, if you're looking through his stats with Nashville, he was great with a .908 save percentage. The year prior to that was a .916 with Nashville as well. And then he had 2 seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks. But Kevin Lankinen coming in at 29 years old from Finland, he would fit great. This is a guy that can be a mentor for Silovs, a guy that can, like you said, just kind of lighten the load for the 2 other goalies. We've seen Thatcher Demko kind of get pushed into this realm of having to play too many games, which looks like what causes a lot of injuries for this guy. But if you could get this guy in on maybe $1 million, I mean, we see most teams have their goalies figured out. So yes, like we seen Rick Dolly say, whereas making $2 million, having the Canucks to figure out this cap situation might get hard. But if the Canucks can get this guy on a cheap contract, I mean, we just seen them go out and get Sammy Blais on a PTO and an AHL contract. Maybe we see Lankinen do the same. If you could get him in maybe on $1 million or just under $1 million, do you think this would fit the Canucks perfectly?
I think it would be nice. I think especially in a situation where you're hoping for the best but preparing for the worst with Demko. And I do like what you said there about putting him on Abbotsford potentially, where we've seen them have a lot of young guys and a lot of young prospects coming up. And now with the addition of Sammy Blais, that is a veteran on the AHL team with a PTO chance with Vancouver. So if you put a guy like Lankinen on the Abbotsford team where he can be a mentor for these younger guys and be that veteran safety valve, I think that would be very nice for Vancouver to have that just within the system, just so they're not going to emergency third goalie, or just trying to go out and get a guy at the trade deadline and hoping that there's someone available. So I think trying to get on top of this earlier rather than later, I think that's a really good sign for Vancouver. And if they're able to make it work, like we said, it's going to be difficult with that cap, but we've seen them bring in a lot of these guys on very cap friendly deals where it just seems like guys want to play for Vancouver. They want to play for Rick Tocchet. They want to play for Patrik Allvin, where they want to be in this city and they want to be in this Vancouver environment. So I think it really is a very big draw appeal for a player like Lankinen to come to Vancouver or Abbotsford. I think it'd be really nice for the team.
And I mean, we've seen other teams do it, and I know we've talked about Martin Jones joining this team as a potential third string goaltender too. We've seen him join the Toronto Maple Leafs on under 900,000 as the third string goaltender. A guy like Lankinen is going to be younger than a guy like Martin Jones if he did come to Vancouver, but at 29, not being signed, obviously he wants to prove himself. This is a guy the Canucks might use at the start of the year, place on waivers, lose him to another team, but I think having Lankinen to the start of the year would be perfect for the Canucks. What would you guys' thoughts on Lankinen? Would you like him as a third string goaltender or a backup to start the year, or is there another name you would rather look at? Let us know down in the comments, but we'll hop straight into the second topic, which is Silovs as an Olympic starter. So we did get a report from Noah Strang today. He said goalie Silovs takes the ice this week as he tries to qualify Latvia for the 2026 Olympics. You can see it starting August 29th. They'll compete against France, Slovenia, Ukraine. You can read through this, but the biggest thing with Silovs, this is a huge step for a goalie like this, and you can see on the very bottom, he's never had a save percentage below 915 in international competition. So first thing looking at this, Griffin, do you think this is going to help kind of give him the edge? He wants to play well for Latvia, but do you think this kind of helps him compete when getting on the Canucks and maybe wanting to steal that starter role?
Absolutely. I think he brings the skill, the talent, and the star power where people know who he is. He has become a household name, obviously in his home country, Latvia, but also in the NHL and in North America. And like you said, with that save percentage, it's so impressive to see that he just rises to the occasion on the international stage. And when they're in that pool with France, Slovenia, and Ukraine, those are teams that haven't really made the Olympics too much or just haven't been as strong of hockey programs in the past. So with Latvia being this program that has really been on the rise over these past few years, or over these past 10 years, I should say, they have really started to make a name for themselves on the Olympic stage as far as just getting there, and as opposed to other countries that just don't make it. So I think with Silovs being the goaltender that he is, I think he has a great chance at not only making the team, but also getting that team to the Olympics at the next one.
And the biggest thing was we've seen Silovs step up in big moments. I mean, we've seen him in round 2 of the playoffs against the Edmonton Oilers. And we also seen him internationally. He was a one-time World Championship bronze medal goaltender. Just at age 23, you can see the medals on the bottom. He was a 6th-round pick, which is still surprising. We were talking about that, how this guy snuck under so many teams, making it to the 6th round for the Canucks again. But looking at his international stats, Team Latvia in the Ice Hockey World Championships, this is the all-time goalie leaders. Silovs sits at number 1 for save percentage in 14 games with a 929 save percentage. You can work your way down, and the next biggest name currently in the league would be Elvis Merzlikins. But obviously with Merzlikins kind of taking a step back in his career, not playing as well, I do think we're going to see Silovs really take over the starting role and take Latvia to the Olympics. You continue on to look at his international stats with Latvia. In 2 games, he had a 932 save percentage in 2021. In 21-22, you can see in 6 games, they went 3-3. He had a 968 save percentage. And in 10 games in 2022-2023, he had a 921 save percentage going 9-3, and it doesn't stop there. You can look at the World Juniors as well. 960 save percentage, 918, 952, and a 921 in all these games internationally with Latvia. This guy's a stud. I think he's going to be incredible for Latvia. And Griffin, if they qualify, do you think they have a chance to maybe push for a medal with a guy like Silovs backstopping them?
I think at best they have a chance to push for a bronze medal. That's no disrespect to the country themselves and the players that they have. I just think when it comes to the other countries where you have Sweden, Canada, of course, that's our sport. USA, they're always that thorn in our hips trying to derail us and dethrone us off of that throne, where I think Latvia, they have a chance to push for maybe a bronze medal. I think they can make maybe a miracle push for that, but I think it would be a very tall order where Silovs is going to be that best player, and goaltending is everything in tournaments, like we've said with the playoffs. But I think it's going to take a lot more than just Silovs to get them to that podium. but I think they're definitely going to try and fight for that bronze medal spot. It all depends on who they're going to get grouped with. But like I said, with Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland, and all these other countries, I think it's going to be very, very tough for them to do that.
And it's going to be awesome to watch. I really hope they do qualify. I think it's awesome to see Latvia really coming up in the hockey world. I mean, we've seen them win the World Juniors bronze medal. It'd be awesome to see them qualify and maybe push the medal in the Olympics as well. What were your guys' thoughts on the whole Silovs thing? Do you think he might steal the starting job, not only in Vancouver, but for Latvia in the in the Olympics? Let us know down in the comments. And speaking of comments, we'll get in everyone's favorite topic, which is, sorry about that, comment of the day. And the comment today comes from Henbanger, and he left an awesome comment you can read through. He said, "Hey, Mark and Griffin, wanted you guys to get a huge shout out on the Daily Nucks Talk." He kind of talks about how he moved to San Diego. He can't really listen to any radio stations, but he keeps up to date with the Canucks. Don't worry, we will be covering Abbotsford as well. We have a couple of videos that we kind of talked about. If you're a big fan of Archie Baines, we will be covering him very soon. But it's awesome to read through these comments, seeing you guys enjoy and just watching from all over. Leave a comment down below where you're watching from, how you found the channel, your favorite Canucks moment, anything you can think of. We love reading the comments. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. Once again, we want to give a huge shout out to Vium for sponsoring this video. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host Griffin. Take care.